Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of the Stitches and Scribbles podcast. My name is Erin, and today we're going to be going over all of my recent projects, some current works in progress, and actually a yarn haul. So let's go ahead and get into it, starting with finished objects. I have found that I have really been gravitating towards really easy to finish projects, things in chunky yarns, things that are on the smaller side, just because I had a lot of really long-term whips going for a while, so it now feels super satisfying to finish things in one sitting. Actually, before I show you whips, I am wearing a handmade cardigan. This is a hexagon cardigan. There's a million tutorials for them on YouTube. I have one on my channel. I made one for a little teddy bear just to show you the gist of how to make it, but it is the same directions. I think I made this with a paint box yarn, and I think the color was called like vintage or retro, something like that. And I think I used about 4 skeins of it plus 1 skein of a solid gray that I used around the edges, and I also did a bobble edging on the bottom. So it does have super wide sleeves because I didn't do the decreases for the sleeves, just because I chose not to. I still don't know if I want to do any sort of ribbing at the end to kind of like cinch the ends of the sleeve together and have it be more like a balloon sleeve instead of a drapey sleeve. But for now I kind of just use it as a house sweater, so it doesn't really matter if the sleeves are super big or not, but I would imagine that it would be hard to get these into a coat sleeve if you were wearing it somewhere where you also needed a winter coat on, but it's fine to use as a sweater by itself while you're inside or while the weather's cool enough that this is the only outer layer that you need. Anyway, finished objects. I have really been into quick projects. The first one that I want to show you I actually finished right before filming, because my apartment echoes everything. I'm sure you just heard that like my neighbors must have turned on their sink or something in the background. I had to wait for my dishwasher to be done before I could film. So while this was originally going to be a whip that I showed you in this video, it's now a finished object because I was waiting for my dishwasher to be done. But I made a sweater vest, and the back of it is actually a normal granny hexagon with standard increases for it to be flat. And then I kind of just kept building around parts of that hexagon until I got a vest shape. I left one side of the hexagon open as the sleeves, and then kind of continued and sewed it up at the top. I don't really have a good explanation for what I did because I was making it up on the fly, but it ended up being super long in the back and looking more like the waistcoat style sweater vest in the front. So I'm super happy with it. I did make it really big because I wanted this yarn specifically to wear over a dress I have that is almost sweatshirt material, and kind of like an oatmeal color. So this is a like deep brown with some like olive green and red tinges in it. And it was made using Premier Serenity Chunky in the color, if I can find it, in the color Woodsman Heather. So this is what the label looks like. I think I got this, I definitely got it from the Premier website last time I did an order from them, which was a while ago, but I knew that I wanted a chunky sweater vest with this yarn. Although I think when I bought it originally, I thought I was going to make a shawl with it because I was really into shawls at the time. Still am, but I have diversified my interests a little bit, so this ended up as a super cozy, squishy fall winter sweater vest. That might actually be my Thanksgiving outfit this year. I'm not sure. We're probably traveling for Thanksgiving, and my husband's parents live further south than us. We live in Wisconsin, so it might be warmer than I'm visualizing for Thanksgiving, so I might not be able to wear any of my sweaters or sweatshirt dresses or anything like that. I might have to dress on the warmer side, so we'll see as it gets closer, but hopefully I can wear something homemade for Thanksgiving because that's just more fun. Moving on, another chunky project that I finished recently is this bandana cowl. This was loosely inspired by the Wickedly Handmade Wild Oleander hooded scarf. I think I remembered all of that correctly. But I was just trying to use up a couple skeins of chunky yarn that I got in a mystery acrylic bag from Hobbii. So I believe this was the Amigo Giga yarn, the like super chunky one in this light gray color. It's super cozy, super warm. I don't know if I'm going to keep this one or not, or try to sell it or give it away to somebody, because it's not quite my color. It's a very warm toned gray, which I don't mind, but I already have an infinity scarf in this color that I like better. So I'm probably going to try to get rid of this somehow, whether I sell it at my next craft fair or gift it to somebody. I do try to keep a couple of handmade gifts kind of on hand in case I need something, because you never know if like you're gonna need a hostess gift or a last minute like gift exchange thing. Although now that I'm not like working in a traditional office, the like Secret Santa type stuff doesn't happen as often. Although we used to do it when I was a teacher. We didn't last year because of COVID things, although we had like a staff virtual Christmas party. But I don't think we did a Secret Santa or anything like that. But we have definitely done stuff like that in the past, and it was always nice to have something homemade on hand that was kind of like universal, could go for anybody. So I like to keep a couple things like that on hand, especially things that are unique. I think my go-to like emergency gift for the next year or so is probably going to be a wild oleander scarf, just because it's different and it's the hoodie scarf, so just kind of fun. But anyway, moving on. Oh, there are two finished objects that I won't be showing in this video because they each got their own videos. But I did finish my sweater that I was making for my father-in-law for Christmas. So that actually has two videos that you can check out. I think they're both called Crochet With Me Men's Cardigan Part 1, Part 2. So if you want to see those, you can check them out. And the pattern and everything that I used is linked for those videos. And I also won't be showing the gnome hoodie scarf that I made on my channel as part of my D&D series, but you can check that out as well. It should be on the D&D playlist on my channel, so you should be able to see both of those. But speaking of D&D patterns, I did make myself a version of a future pattern that will be coming out on my channel for Halloween, so you guys get a sneak peek of it if you're watching it here. But I went ahead and made myself a Dragonborn shawl. It's a little hard to show this on camera, so I'll kind of show it in pieces. It is an asymmetrical triangle shawl, so you go from one corner to one side diagonally. So one edge is a really pretty ribbed cable to give it some detail, and you can see those eyelet increases on that edge as well. Then one edge is, I called them little dragon scales, but this like kind of zigzag pattern with the eyelet increases. And then the third edge is just the bind off edge, so it's just straight. But I wore this as part of my Halloween costume. I used a bunch of my Ren Fair costume pieces as well as the dragon puppet that I purchased at Ren Fair over the summer, just to have kind of a spooky Halloween version of my Ren Fair costume. I really liked it, and the shawl actually helped hide where I had the puppet attached to my shoulder because I attached it using hair ties. A lot of people use magnets to clip stuff like that on, but I didn't have those, so I used rubber bands and hair ties. So I used a shawl to cover up all of that stuff, even though it was dark, so you probably wouldn't have been able to see it anyway. But really happy that I finished this in time for Halloween, and this will be a tutorial coming out in December on my channel, although you will see it in a different color because I didn't film this version. I think I'm probably going to use some of my mandala yarn for that, and I do have it in the color Dragon, which is like turquoise, browns, greens, kind of a gold color in there, so I'll probably use that one just because the name is fitting and I already have it. I don't need to go shopping for a new one, so you'll see that in December, how to do that one. Some other finished objects. I finished a prayer shawl for my prayer shawl group at church. I have it folded in half so that you can kind of see the whole thing. But this is made just using crochet moss stitch. It's the same stitch I'm using for my temperature blanket, and I used 2 different colors of Lion Brand Mandala Ombre, I think is what this one is. I know it has a weird name that doesn't quite, to me, describe what it looks like. So I think this was the Mandala Ombre in the like blue and green color and the green stripes color. So yeah, that turned out super nice and squishy and soft. I do like the texture of this type of mandala yarn, but I don't often see it in stores. I think I got it at Walmart over the summer or earlier than that, something along those lines. So I used it on my first prayer shawl for that group. I'm going to start another one because they actually gave me some yarn to use because they do have a budget from the church to make them. So the president goes and gets a bunch of yarn, especially when it's on clearance, and then brings it back and we can pick some to take home. So I'll probably be starting another one in the next couple days, especially because there's a pattern that's been floating around in my head that I want to write. So I'm going to use it for both to practice the pattern that's been floating around in my brain and to have another shawl to donate. So that pattern I'm hoping will come out around like February or March because I want to do kind of a like spring garden collection on my Etsy store and have like another pattern, some physical objects to purchase, some jewelry, some stitch markers, and just kind of do like a early spring theme with like pastel colors and stuff. So hopefully I can get all of that done in time. Yeah, we'll see. But that pattern will be up eventually because I'm definitely going to do it regardless, if it works with my timing or anything like that. The next 2, I think the last 2 finished objects that I have to show you today are actually baby blankets. Along with prayer shawls, my prayer shawl group got a request from a local hospital to make some receiving blankets, both for babies born at the normal time and for preemies. So they had a couple different sizes listed. So I made one in Lion Brand Mandala. I think this was the color Serpent, I'm pretty sure. Grays, yellows, browns. I thought it was a good gender neutral baby color, and again, since I had it on my shelf, I figured might as well use it up. I love the Lion Brand mandalas, and I like always leave the store with one of them, but I rarely use them on stuff. So now I'm kind of just trying to use them up as I go so that they're not continuing to sit on my shelf. And the second one I made was also from my Hobie mystery yarn bag that I ordered. This is also in Amigo, but I think it was Amigo bulky. It's not the same as the gray scarf I showed you. It's like slightly thinner, but not by much. And this is just a plain solid granny square in a light pink. Super cute. This one is on the smaller size, so this was more along the like preemie blanket size that they requested. But I thought that the like fluffy chunky yarn would be fun. Alright, let's move into some whips. First one I have to show you is also a Christmas present for somebody. So if you are my husband and watching this for some reason, please look away because you're going to spoil your Christmas present. I think this maybe was in the previous podcast too, but I can't remember if it was or not. So you've been warned if you're watching these for some reason. I don't think he watches any of my videos because he sees what I'm doing in person, so it doesn't matter, and he definitely wouldn't sit through one of the like pattern videos just because that doesn't make sense. I do not expect anyone that I know in real life to watch my videos because they're not knitters or crocheters, so it wouldn't make sense for them to sit and watch a whole video. But I am actually knitting a bow tie for him. So I started with some decreases, and this is knit in the round, so it's double thick. And I used one of his actual bow ties as a reference, and just like keep carefully putting it back every time I get it out to borrow it. So I started with increasing until I got to the width of the center, and then I did some increases and decreases again, and now I'm working on the neck portion. The only thing that I realized is going to make this different than a traditional bow tie is traditional bow ties you can usually adjust, and I don't think I could get a clip that would work with how thick the fabric's going to end up, but they are on the stretchy side. So I'm also writing a pattern for this, but this is the first attempt, so it might take me a couple tries to get the pattern released. But anyway, I kind of took measurements of where he had the clip set at. It's kind of adjustable, almost like suspenders would be. Yeah, more like suspenders, not like a belt where it's got like a buckle in it, but like the clips that slide back and forth to adjust things. So I took measurements of how long the neck should be based on where he has the clip set, but if you were making this for somebody, you would have to change the measurements, if that makes sense. So it's a little stretchy, you'd have some wiggle room, but it won't be adjustable like most bow ties are, so you're definitely making it like for an individual person, which is probably why I wouldn't ever sell the actual bow ties at a craft fair, because they would have to be all different sizes. But I would probably do them as a custom order if somebody was really interested. So anyway, that's the bow tie. It's being made in the Happy Sock yarn from Hobbii. This was a points only yarn for a while, and I think they don't have it anymore. But you could use any sock yarn for this. In fact, as part of my yarn haul, I will be showing you a couple of sock yarns that I purchased with the intention to make more of these. So any sock yarn will do. Oh, I have one more finished object that was hiding in my whip basket instead of with my other finished objects. But I started making some lavender sachets. These were made on the knitting machine just to make it go a little bit faster. I did like, I want to say 40 to 50 rows and doubled it up, so it's actually 2 layers thick. Sewed one end closed one way and the other end like perpendicular from the first one, if that makes sense. Stuffed it with polyfill and some lavender, and I used yarn from Hobby Lobby. It's the Yarn ID in the color Thistle, so it's a really pale heathery purple. It almost just looks gray, but it's got like a slight purple in it. I really love the Yarn ID yarn. This was the first time that I tried it, and I am absolutely in love with it. So I'm definitely going to be using it some more for projects. Probably if I end up doing that spring Etsy collection, I might make some wearables with some of these heathery pastels to kind of go with the theme and like color story I think I'm going to go with for that collection. Hopefully I actually like get all of that done and this doesn't become a like, well yeah, I was planning on it but I didn't get to it sort of deal. So I'm hopeful right now. We'll see how crazy the next couple of months are and adjust from there. But moving on, I have some more whips to show you. Oh, another lavender sachet was hiding in that one for some reason. Oh, this is another one that will be an Etsy pattern. I don't know when I'll release it. I originally kind of wanted it out in time for Christmas this year. I don't think that's going to happen, and I don't want to push myself to make it happen. You may have seen another version of this on my channel already because I did do a like preliminary version of it, but it's going to be a kind of shield or half circle shaped shawl. I'm going to call this the sleigh bells shawl because it's going to have a bobble trim on it, kind of like the end of the sweater I'm currently wearing to be the sleigh bells. But I'm using the Hobbii, let's pull it out of the bag and actually look at the label, the Christmas Universe yarn from Hobbii. This comes in a couple different colors. Unfortunately, their yarn labels don't say the color name on them. It just gives the number. So I know that this is color number 21, which I believe would still show up on the website. It's the one that has gold glitter running through it and kind of more traditional, darker Christmas colors. But there's also one with like really vibrant Christmas colors, one that has like pink in it, and then one that I think doesn't have any white. It's more of a gray, like silvery looking color going on. That was a really terrible description of yarn colors. I'm so sorry, but this is what it looks like so far. It's starting off with those pretty clear stripes, but it's gonna end up looking more variegated by the end, because if the stripes are working out evenly now, they're not going to continue to do so for the rest of the piece. So I really like how this is turning out so far. I think it's definitely a great way to use patterned Christmas yarn, which is what I intended the pattern for. So hopefully that'll be out for Christmas next year, so that we can do some holiday knit and crochet. I'm also using a Vera Bradley bag as the case for this, which is the sound you're hearing. I don't know if they still carry these, but these are the bags that are supposed to be for shoes while traveling, because the inside is water resistant, so that if you have like dusty, dirty shoes, they're not going to get the rest of your luggage all gross. But I really like them as knitting bags or crochet bags because they do have that water resistant layer, so if it's going with you somewhere and you're like setting it on the ground, it's not going to get damaged too much. Obviously the fabric on the outside might not last with too much wear and tear, but it'll keep everything safe on the inside. So that's what I've been using those for. It was their like free birthday gift for a while. Somehow I ended up with 2 of them, and I think I only purchased one for myself. I don't think I even purchased it. I think it was free because I got something else, or it was the birthday gift. I haven't bought Vera Bradley in a really long time, but that was definitely my thing in college. I had Vera Bradley everything. Everybody had Vera Bradley everything in like 2012 when I started college. So a lot of my luggage is still Vera Bradley, but I don't buy it for myself anymore. Also, I feel like the current patterns aren't as cute as they used to be. I was real disappointed with the Harry Potter collection. I was so excited about all of that, and then I saw it in person and then was kind of underwhelmed. Also, like, I usually like all of my bags to be black, not navy. I was very surprised that the Harry Potter pattern had a navy background, because I thought for sure it would be black, but because it was navy, I wasn't really interested. Also, I don't know how I feel about wearing like fandom merch anymore as an adult. Like, if I'm gonna wear it, I want it to be pretty subtle so that I know it's there and someone who is also a fan of the thing knows it's there, but not to like announce to the world that I still like young adult books, if that makes sense. But also, like, wear what you want. That's just my opinion. I don't want to be a walking advertisement for something I liked when I was in high school. Anyway, next whip is going to be another baby blanket. So this is a corner to corner design, and this is a Karen Skinny Cake in the color Rainbow. Probably could have guessed that one. Nice, bright, vibrant colors. I think this is going to be a super cute baby blanket. I might even be able to get a blanket and a hat or something out of this, because it's already getting pretty big and I look like I haven't even made a dent in the yarn cake. So I'll probably get a couple of items out of this yarn. Oh no, I do have 2 more to show you. This one I finally picked back up again after a while, so it'll probably look familiar if you've been watching, but I am working on a Christmas present for my sister-in-law. I also don't think she watches my podcasts, and she also picked out the yarn herself, so she kind of already knows what this is going to look like, and like told me she wanted a rectangle shawl with like some lacy stitches in it. So if you happen to be watching this and you want to see what it looks like, go ahead. You probably know 90% of what it looks like anyway. But this is the stitch I picked. It is the Peacock Fan Stitch. I don't remember what book I got it out of, but I've seen it called like similar things from other books. I think I'm like 75% done with this. I got four or five skeins of this yarn, and I think I'm on skein 3, so I probably will only need 4 and have 1 left over. But hopefully I can get that done soon because Christmas is rapidly approaching. And then my last whip, I gotta lean for it. It was a big pile of stuff to show you guys this month. Last one you have also already seen. This is the circle shawl that I'm making for my parish auction. I am using fancy yarn for this one because this came from a local yarn store. This is Ciro yarn by the Fiber Company in the color Enchanting. So it is, let me look at it again. It is a blend of alpaca, cotton, and wool. It actually has like a cotton base that's black. I don't know if you can see that on camera. And the black cotton kind of gives it some nice structure, and then the like halo fuzzy part is the alpaca. And what did I say it was? Alpaca and merino wool. So this is one of those projects that's really hard to show while it's on the needles, but I promise this is a half circle shawl. I used a tutorial from the Fiber Spider for this one. I'm on my 2nd out of 4 hanks of this yarn. I'm going to go ahead and use all 4 because I want it to be really big, but it's definitely going to turn out big by using all 4 hanks of yarn. I'm actually going to pause the video for a second because I realized I forgot to grab some of the yarn that I want to show you in my yarn haul, so I will be right back. Okay, and we're back. I had to like move everything into this room. If you have watched some of my other podcasts, I've talked about this before, but the lights in our guest bedroom, which is also my office, have not been working recently. There's something wrong with that whole circuit in our apartment, so it's both of our 2 bedrooms and the lights in one of the bathrooms will occasionally just not work. And it's not just the lights, it's like every outlet in those 3 rooms doesn't work. So it'll like flicker and do weird things, but because some of the lights I use have like a button, if the lights turn off and come back on, I have to go manually turn them all on. They don't come on when the light switch turns back on, if that makes sense. So I'm filming out here again, but that means that I like forgot some of the stuff and had to move it around. So we're good now, we're ready. So we're gonna dive into the yarn haul for this month. I know I've said before that I had put myself on a yarn ban, but I got a couple of really good deals on yarn, and then one of the yarn things I'll show you was something I ordered before I put myself on a yarn ban because it was a Halloween yarn calendar situation that I ordered back in like July, I think. So we're just going to dive into it. The first couple yarns I have to show you were actually a gift from a friend who was visiting. She, excuse me, talking too much. My voice is starting to go. She visited us from Seattle, but she's one of our friends from college, so she came for Halloween, did like candy handout with us at my parents' house, so it was super fun to have her here, but she brought me yarn, which was super exciting. So the first thing she brought me, oops, that one the label came off, she ended up with 4 skeins of the yellow chameleon yarn from Premier. This was at Michael's for a while, but I don't think it's there anymore. This is the yarn that changes color in the sunlight, so right now it looks white, but in the sun it turns yellow. She had 4 of these. I can't remember now if someone bought them for her and she just decided not to use them, or if she got them and changed her mind, but she gave me her 4 skeins of yellow that she had so that I can add it to my stash. Not that I like needed more of it, but I'm happy to have it now that it's here. So now I think I have 6 skeins of the yellow and 2 skeins of the yellow variegated, so I can probably do like a whole sweater vest or something, like a kind of boho cardigan situation with that for summer, which could be pretty fun. And then she also got me 2 I believe they're hand dyed yarns. They are from, are these the same one? They're from the same dyer, but they are 2 different types of yarn. I like couldn't read for a second there. So they are from MJ Yarns. This is what the label looks like. super cool with those dragons on there. Obviously very much my vibe. This one is called Tough Ram Heavy Fingering in the color Corundum, Corundum. And this is 80% superwash merino, 20% nylon, and it's got about 360 yards. It is this beautiful, like, magenta purple or fuchsia purple. Very, like, Halloween purple looking, and Halloween is my favorite holiday, and she knows that when she picked it out. So this was definitely giving me, like, Sarah Sanderson vibes from Hocus Pocus, or even, like, Halloween Town purples. Really excited to use this. I'm probably going to make a shawl with it, surprise, and blend it with like a black or a gray to get the purple to really pop, and do maybe like some stitch where there's like a little bit of color work in there so that I can get the colors to really stand out. This one is by the same dyer, so it's MJ Yarns, but this is called the Sophistisock yarn. This one is 75% superwash merino, 15% nylon, 10% tencel. This is 390 yards, and this color is called Glacial Falls. So it's this beautiful, like, tonal blue with like a couple little pops of grayish lavender in there. It's got like navy, turquoise. Really excited about this. This is definitely giving me Hades from the Disney Hercules vibes. It's very much like those colors. We'll probably also make this into a shawl. Kind of same idea as the purples. I really want this color to pop, but I'm thinking if I could do it in black and have this be the edging, maybe in a like kind of flame design to actually mimic Hades from Hercules. I think that would be super cool, but I either need to find a pattern where that will work or make my own. So this one might be sitting on the shelf for a while until I can figure that out. Moving on to my Halloween yarn. So I purchased a Halloween mystery yarn calendar from Fangirl Fibers on Etsy. And this was her My Favorite Murder yarn collection, which I love that podcast. I never thought I would ever see My Favorite Murder themed yarn. So I was super excited, and it was really hard to not open all the packages at once. I did actually wait. There was one for every Friday in October, and I'm going to show you the yarns in order. All of these are 75-25 merino nylon, which I think is her normal like sock yarn base, if I'm not mistaken. This first one is called Elvis Want a Cookie. It's this beautiful like beigey gold with black spots in it, very much like chocolate chip cookie looking to me. Elvis is Elvis has since passed away. When I'm listening in the podcast, I'm still listening to like 2018, so it's a couple years ago. I started from the beginning. Elvis is the Siamese cat of one of the podcast hosts, and he always wants a treat after they after they record podcasts. So this is Elvis Want a Cookie. The second one was called You're in a Cult, Call Your Dad. All of these quotes make sense, or yarn names make sense if you have listened to the podcast, but otherwise they're going to sound real weird. This is a beautiful navy. It's pretty solid. There's maybe some tonal stuff going on in it, like a couple like little streaks of black, but it's mostly just solid navy. The third one is what they say at the end of every podcast, which is stay sexy and don't get murdered. This is a beautiful rose pink with some like brownish purple in there. The next one I'm not going to say out loud because I don't think YouTube would be very happy with me, so I'll just hold it up to the screen. Good life advice. But this is a deep purple. It's kind of like the navy one where there's some like hints of black in it, but it's mostly just a solid purple. And then the final one, which was the last one, is called Stay Out of the Forest. It's much bigger than the other ones, and it's a beautiful forest green with some like whites and grays in it to give it that like tonal quality. So I'll hold up all 5 together if I can make that work. Let's try it this way. There we go. All 5. Beautiful yarns. Really excited. Definitely going to use them all in one project. I just need to decide what I want to do. Other than the yarn, there were actually some other little surprise goodies in the box that I wasn't expecting. One of them, unfortunately, I can't show you because it's waiting to be washed because I used it for my coffee this morning, but there was a Murderino coffee mug with some beautiful skulls and flowers on it. I did show it on my TikTok if you're really curious and want to see it there. But stainless steel travel mug with Murderino written on it, which is what you call fans of My Favorite Murder. There was also a reusable straw. I still haven't taken this out of the package just because I don't use straws that much at home, but I'm happy to have one. There was a skull shaped lollipop that's probably not going to show up on camera. This is from the Laughing Forest. It is a blood orange flavor with edible flowers. You can see if I tilt it maybe. There's the label on the back. Super cute. Didn't eat it because I wanted to show it on TikTok, so I still have it. There's also I'm pretty sure this is soap. It's shaped like a tombstone, although I'm not 100% sure if it's soap or chocolate because I haven't opened it yet and I don't really smell anything, but the package is still sealed, so I think this is soap. Maybe candy, but probably soap. There's also a sticker from the podcast. Again, one of the yarn names was You're in a Cult, Call Your Dad, which is a quote from the show. So this is the sticker that goes with it. And then there were also some absolutely gorgeous wooden and plastic stitch markers. Fangirl Fibers has lots and lots and lots of these on her Etsy store. I'll read the quotes off because they probably won't show on camera. One says snitches get candy. One says the husband did it. One says here's the thing. There's also this is terrible, keep going, and one plastic one with like a bloody handprint on it, and the rest are carved wood. All quotes from the show. Really excited to use these. And that's it for my Fangirl Fibers stuff. The whole Halloween season I had it in a pumpkin bucket. I said this was my crafting trick-or-treat bucket because it's where all of my yarn goodies from Fangirl Fibers went. So that was exciting. Other yarn I purchased and some other craft supplies because we don't do just yarn on this channel anymore. We have lots and lots of crafting things. First thing I'll show you, I actually went to Hobby Lobby yesterday and got a couple things. I'm still working on some like small Christmas gifts that I can have available. And I still have a ton of those clear plastic ornaments that you're supposed to fill with stuff. And I wasn't sure what I wanted to do with them because I had a whole box left, and then the same friend who's from Seattle had given me another whole box when she moved. So I was looking for some new ideas to fill them up and maybe make a couple of like ornaments with the current year on them to hand out to people at Christmas. Last year I did some with like yarn scraps and ribbon in them, and I used my Cricut to cut out the year 2020 with a snowflake and put it on top. So those were cute, but I did those last year, and while I could do that like in a different color, I kind of wanted to try something different. So I saw a bunch of tutorials on Pinterest for how to make glitter ornaments, and I'm a former teacher, as you know, so the idea of purchasing glitter again like went against every fiber of my being, but I did it anyway. I started with some Elmer's clear glue. I think this was actually from Target, not from Hobby Lobby. So big bottle of Elmer's clear glue because this was the only one that they had and I wasn't sure how much I would need. And then at Hobby Lobby, I got, well, this glitter is specifically for my grandmother. It's like a pinkish gold silver. It's called Silver Champagne, kind of like in the rose gold color family. Her Christmas tree is all shades of pink, gold, silver, and white. So this seemed like a good color for her. And then I also purchased a like multicolored pack of glitter. And this one actually looks like tinsel. They're not like round pieces of glitter. They're little like tiny rectangles, so it looks more like Christmas tree tinsel. So I'm going to try to make a couple of glitter ornaments. We'll see how that goes. This could be an epic fail, but I will find other stuff to use the glitter for if needed. And then I only got one yarn from Hobby Lobby, and this is another sock yarn, hopefully to make another bow tie. I'm thinking this will be the color that I photograph the pattern in when I'm finally ready to do the final version. So I got the Patons Croy Socks in the color Blue Striped Rag with 2 G's. It's like gray, red, orange, yellow, and navy. This will probably also be one I give to my husband. He wears a lot of blue shirts for work. And he actually wears a bow tie every Friday in honor of his grandfather, who was known for wearing bow ties. So his whole family does bow tie Friday. But let's move on to my other yarn. This next bag is from Michaels. And, oh, looks like I went overboard on the sock yarn. I think I forgot that I had gotten the one from Hobby Lobby, so I got one from Michaels too. And weirdly enough, it's the same brand. It's the Patons Croy Sock. This is in the color Turquoise Stripes. So this is teal, black, blue, a little bit of green. Again, he wears lots of blue and green, so this seemed like a good color. I don't know if Hobby Lobby carries different colors, but I don't remember seeing this one at Hobby Lobby when I looked. Maybe they have it now, or it's a new color. But another sock yarn. I got a lot of sock yarn. I think I was real set on making bow ties this month. I also got some Impeccable yarn from Loops and Threads in the color Air and Tweed. I got 2 of these. I got these to make some pumpkins for my mom, because she still has pumpkins out for Thanksgiving, so I'm going to make a couple for her. And then the other yarn I saw is new, and I think it's limited, yeah, it says limited time only. This is the Cozy Wool Tweed from Loops and Threads. I got 3 in the color Forest Green. This is what it looks like. It's got a little bit of a halo. It's a chain spun yarn, and it has flecks of like navy, cream, orange, red, and gold in it. I thought this was super pretty. I actually want to make another version of my Mirkwood shawl in this and probably film it for TikTok. And that pattern is available on my Etsy, which the information for that will be in the description box. But I thought this would pair really well with that shawl pattern. So that's probably what I'm going to do with it. And my last bag that I have to show you is from Hobie. And I originally only was going to order some Christmas sock yarn from Hobie, and then I got a bag that's this big. So clearly I went overboard, but they were having like a Halloween sale. So let's take a look at everything in here. The first thing I got is, I think I ordered 7 of these. The Metallico yarn, and it's color number 4. I think it was called Copper on the website. Very shiny, very fuzzy, which, like, the fact that there's a yarn that's metallic and fluffy is kind of amazing. But I got this because originally this is the yarn I was going to use for the shawl for the church auction, and I still really liked it even though I decided not to use it for that. But I figured I could make one for next year or keep it on hand as a like kind of fancy Christmassy holiday present for somebody. So now we gotta pull all of those out so I can get to the bottom of the bag. It looks like I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of these. I think it was one of the ones where if you get up to a certain number, it's less expensive. So I think I hit the first number was what I was trying to do. As always in Hobie boxes, there was a free gift. This one was more yarn needles, which is great because I always lose them. I do prefer the metal ones, but the really long plastic ones are nice for certain yarns. I, of course, had to get one of the Twister Halloween skeins in this gorgeous color. I think it was called Pumpkin Smash, but it's color number 2. and I think this is gone already. They sold out pretty fast. I actually did a second Hobbii order. I thought it was going to be here in time to film this video, but it's supposed to be delivered at like 2 o'clock today. And right now it's 11:37 and I have to get this uploaded before 3. So it's not going to make it into this one, but that's okay. Oranges, browns. I don't think it goes to black. I think it stops at like a deep chocolatey brown. Really love this. This is definitely going to be a shawl that I can wear for fall events. I don't think I'm going to get to it before this Thanksgiving, although it would have been a good backup if I couldn't wear that sweater vest. But I absolutely love this color. It makes me so happy. Moving on, I got some plain black Malaga yarn, which is their like regular acrylic yarn. It's pretty close to the I Love This yarn from Hobby Lobby. I think it's a little bit nicer, but this is just in black, color number 10. My mom wanted a winter headband in solid black, so I'm going to make that for her. Then for sock yarn, I got, I think these are the same. Yeah, 2 balls of the Christmas sock wool in color 5. They look like this. I figured I'll use one for a Christmas bow tie for my husband that I hopefully can get done soon. And have the other one available either to make something for myself that matches or just to be able to make more Christmas bow ties. I have a feeling some of his family members will want them once they see that he has one. And then last but not least, I got another 4-pack of the Christmas Universe from Hobbii. I had gotten 2 of the 4-packs last year, and as I started my Christmas shawl that I was making, I realized that 2 skeins was not going to be enough for the size that I wanted, so I ordered another pack while it was on sale during Halloween, so that I have 3 of each now, which should be enough for what I want to make. That's it for this month, I think. Stuff you can look forward to in the next month. You will be getting, of course, another bullet journal video. Since I do that every month, you will get another Dungeons & Dragons tutorial. This will be for the half-elf rectangle shawl that I'm still working on, and it's going very slowly, so hopefully I can get that one done in time. And we will have our second episode of Creeps and Crafts. I have not finalized what spooky story I want to do for that one yet, but I've got a couple that I'm bouncing back and forth, and I'm really excited to release episode 2 of that. If you haven't watched episode 1, it's on my channel, and it talks about the haunted Pfister Hotel right here in Milwaukee, and you learn how to make some very cute painted pumpkin designs. So feel free to check that out if you're looking for something crafty and spooky to do now that we're past Halloween. But I think you can be spooky all year round. If you're interested in following me on other social media, all that information will be in the description box below for Instagram, TikTok, as well as my Etsy store. If you want to make the Mirkwood shawl pattern, you can find it on my Etsy. It is a download so that you can get started right away. And I think that's it for announcements. So thanks so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye, everybody.